Yo,
Yeah, well,
welcome to the Dirty Dens, where we don't just follow the culture, we question it. I'm your
absolutely.
host, JustSayOx. My
Sin,
co-host is J-Sin,
absolutely.
and today we got a fire lineup. We talking about Rodney Hinton Jr., the Diddy trial, Candace Owens going toe-to-toe with Jason Lee,
Mm.
and the bigger question that needs asking, are men being demasculated in today's society? Let's not waste no more time. Let's get into it.
All right, let's pop it.
Sin, first up, Rodney Hinton Jr. If people don't know his name, it's time that you get to know his name. Young man case been flying around under the radar, but it speaks to bigger issues in our justice system. What's your take? Why isn't it being talked about more?
I think it's scary for a lot of people because he represents the unleashing, you know what I'm saying, of our inner demon. You feel me? From a person like me, it's always that if that happened to me, this is what I'm going to do. And he just did that. You feel me? And it's like
Talking about the father.
the father. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
But
yo,
before we get into that, let's just
right,
take it back to the son.
right.
Right. So what happened is some kids, they in a car. The police get a phone call. The car get reported that it was stolen. Police stops the car. The kid get out the car. They start running. The cops say, whatever they supposed to say, and he starts shooting. He claims that he saw a gun. The body cam footage, it shows that it wasn't a gun.
Right.
And he shot that young man 6 times. Now, as a father, right, this just happened yesterday. Just happened yesterday. Your whole life changed just like that instantly, right? We
Mm-hmm.
don't even know if the car was stolen, who else was in the car. We don't know none of that. Like if it was actually stolen or what the situation was. It was just reported stolen, kid got shot. So now the father, day after, and this is right after he sees the body cam footage, by the way. Right. So he sees that this cop lied and say, hey, he was holding a gun. Body cam footage says he never had a gun. And you shot him 6 times while he was running. It's not like he facing you running towards you. The kid is running away. Right. So it's nothing about that would have been like, yo, it was worth him getting shot over. Whether he had a gun in his hand or not, he running away. You understand what I'm saying? So now the father, he sees that, and there's a couple different stories out there, but the one that I got, they was at the house. He saw that. I guess the family was like, yo, just stay in the house. He need to breathe. Like he just seen this, his son died, he need to breathe. He's out driving, doing whatever it is he doing. At a
They felt this
traffic
energy.
stop,
They felt this energy.
he see another police officer. He runs the police officer over. The police officer loses his life. Now he's charged with manslaughter, which he could be spending the rest of his life in jail for taking that police officer life. Now, it was not the police officer that shot his son, but it was a police officer. Right? So a lot of the back and forth is you killed the innocent cop, right? The community is saying you killed the innocent boy, which happens all the time, and there's no justification for it. And now that leads us into the situation. So the thoughts on that situation.
I
Should he
think
be charged with manslaughter?
I don't think
I
you
say
can charge him with
absolutely not.
anything, bro. You can charge him with anything under the sun, bro. Like you could put him on a chair today. He don't care. His life is gone. Like you gotta understand that he's just existing right now. He's just physically existing in a world he don't want to exist in. You feel me? Like probably like, and you gotta understand in certain situations like that, he probably ain't even digest the idea that he lost his son. Like it's so traumatic to him. Like all this is just distractions from that. And every now and again, he probably come back to it. You feel me? Like it's so deep, bro. Like yo, he lost his kid. You know what I mean? And there's nothing after that. There's
Right.
nothing after that. You lost yourself.
He lost the main part of him that held in the most importance, I should say.
Yeah, the most precious thing in his life is gone, separated. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's why like that insanity is real, bro. Like they that is a legitimate situation, like temporary insanity, bro. Like that is legitimate, bro.
That's what
Feel
I would
me?
say. That has to be legitimate. You lost
That
your
is
son
legitimate.
24 hours. I don't even know if it was a full 24 hours before the situation happened.
And you've seen him die. You've seen the body cam.
And you seen the body cam footage, so you seen your son get
Traumatized.
shot up.
Traumatized. Traumatized. You know what I
Right.
mean? Look, if he had a gun, he probably would have ate that shit. Seriously. He probably would have killed himself after he killed that cop. You know what I mean? Like, that's how dark this space is that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people, I don't think they go that deep with it. Like, that cop that he killed is faceless to him. It's just a representation of an
What
organization
killed
that
his
killed
son.
his kid. Feel me?
Right.
And the cop is faceless to them. Just like black kids be faceless to cops. You know what I mean? They all look alike. They all the same. In that state, it's the same thing. It's like y'all all look the same, y'all all the same. You know what I mean? Like for
See,
instance,
this problem just keep happening though, right? Like a cop could pretty much kill anybody and get away with it, right? Unless it's on video or some crazy shit happen. You know,
even when it's on video.
it's
Even when
kind of
it's
it's
on
kind of
video.
it's kind of like you could get away with it if they start taking or we start getting justice from that. Then I think a lot of that should have shift. That's my personal opinion. As far as that, they all just look the same because we look the same because you could treat us like shit, which is the same as people been treated, right? As our people been treated like shit. That's why we all look the same, no matter light skin, dark skin, whatever. If you black, you black, right? And most cops' eyes based off of the experience. I'm not saying that it's no good cops, but for the majority, when we look at our experience, right, we have way more fucked up experiences with a cop, whether it's a traffic stop, whatever it may be, then we can actually say we had a good experience or just a respectable experience, right? There's a few cops that I could be like, yo, I got stopped. You ain't treat me like a fucking criminal.
A lot of authority lose the element. They lose the human element with with that authority that comes with them. They forget who they forget about the higher standard of civilization that they have to uphold. They forget that the authority kind of trumps all that, and it becomes a poison. So therefore, their worst fears, the background and training and teaching as a child, and the little things that was told when they was younger starts to like come out. You know what I mean? You know how they say like a lot of cops they was pushed around. Now they get to be the bully. You feel me?
Right.
It's like this
It's an
evolving
ego
into a
trip.
monster. You evolve into a monster if you don't know how to check yourself. You feel me? And if you ain't got people around you that know how to check you, that's a problem. That is what's the greatest problem with the police force of today is cops will lie for one another. You know what I mean? They place their brotherhood above doing the right thing. And when they do that brotherhood, that's gang affiliation, bro.
Absolutely.
That's gang affiliation. You feel me? They
Absolutely.
taking an
They're
oath.
the biggest gang in the world
Man, they taking an oath into a gang. That's all they know
with
about.
the most power because they can play with freedom. You feel
Right.
me? They can lie and play with freedom.
Play with your
You know,
life. Play with
yeah,
your life.
everything, freedom, your life, everything. They government ties, right? Like that's the street soldiers for the government. You know what I mean?
I just think like if you're gonna be a police officer, like you have to check yourself first. You really have to check in first with yourself. You feel me? And know what you really want to do this for. Know what you want to be a cop for. You know what I mean? If it's for the wrong reasons, then you know what I'm saying. Then grow. You feel me? Off, grow. You know what I'm saying? You coming fresh out of high school into the police force, or a bachelor's degree into the police force. You haven't grown. You haven't grown. You're still egotistical. You're still grudgeful, and now you got a gun and a badge. I think that's a pity. And then you unleash them into a community that the rights are stripped. In a sense, our rights get stripped. Like cops have this way rounding us up the way they round us up and justifying it. It just don't work in other communities. Feel me? Like they'll never do that in any other community. They do it to our community because we pose a threat. innately because they fear us. They fear us and I'm not even gonna say like a white or black thing, but they fear us in the sense that if there is ever a people that take on that game, it'll be the black community. And that is one of the most fearful notions or imaginatory things that they have in the state of America. Like it's like if it was an uprising, other than the Mexican cartel, you know what I'm saying? You feel
Right,
me? But
right,
in
right.
America, it'd be black young kids, you feel me, that would just start blazing on these cats. And that's something that they fear more than anything. So that's why they round them up the way they round them up. You know what I mean? They round them up the way they round them up outside of fear, bro. These kids, but ain't playing out here, man.
It's funny you say that too, because we're looking at it from today, but I was just watching a documentary earlier today,
Right.
as far as like pretty much based off what you're saying, like how the blacks been feared for certain things since pretty much all the history, like all the transcripts and all that. They always was trying to suppress. I'm gonna say more moderate. I'm gonna say when I say moderate, I mean like the last
250
3,000
years,
years. Well,
250 years of the America.
we was in slavery 250 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was at auctions and shit. You know. But it was like it's just based on through history. Like it's a good documentary, man. I'll try to remember the name and send it to you. But it was pretty much touching on that same type of situation. Like even back in the times, just because we was you take it all the way back to hieroglyphics and science, mathematics, things of that nature, right? All of this stuff is found dominantly in Africa, right? Meaning people of color kind of created it. So it kind of touches on a lot of that. And I think, that's the root, and what we are is just a stem off of that tree where
Yeah,
we
you
are
gotta
today,
understand the objective is
you know.
always gonna be the males within their 20s to 30s. Because if you notice any powerful figure in our history, our recent history, modern day history, from Malcolm X, Huey P, they was all young, you feel me? They was young. They was in their 20s, bro. I mean, you could take the hip hop history, Biggie, Tupac. They was young. You know what I'm saying? These cats was,
Kids.
yeah, they
We
was kid
like
25
at
years
my
old.
age right now, I would look at them as kids.
Yeah, you would look at them as kids,
You
but
know
look
what I mean?
how
Like, bro, y'all
powerful they were.
kids.
Look how
Right.
powerful they were, bro. Like, and it's like any Malcolm was young.
He
You know what I'm
was.
saying? Malcolm was young.
He was. He
Martin
died
was
young.
young. Martin was young.
Right.
Feel me?
All they all died. Malcolm
Nelson
and Martin died
Mandela
in their
was young.
30s.
Nelson Mandela was young.
Right.
You feel me? So they understood that. And they like, yo, we gotta stem it from that. That's where they gotta approach the bench. Either get it close to that, teens, 15, 13, like that. Cause they start letting them grow into their 20s, it's over. It's over. You know what I mean? Like, so they trying to cut it off before it can even grow, you know, uproot it. But as far as the father, man, like, listen, man, I think he represents something that a lot of fathers and even uncles, friends, whatever you want to call, whatever the man is, he represents something like that we know instinctively, like if that was to ever happen to us, where our brains will go. You feel me? If we didn't have people around us saying, no, 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 let's pray, and we didn't have that, we going all out. We going all out like this. No, none of that. Like we're not doing none of that. And I think he represent that. A lot of men is like waking up like, yo, he represent that. That was in me. You feel me? Because I would do the worst to him. You feel me? A lot of men is saying that. Like, bro, I would have
Yeah,
moved
absolutely.
crazier than him. What he did
Absolutely.
was nothing. Tip of the iceberg, nothing. You feel me? I would have went harder. You know, y'all motherfuckers looking for me. You know what
Here
I'm
I
saying?
am.
Like,
Right. Right.
uh, and I think that, that is why it's so like, because people know,
Let me ask you
people
this.
know.
Let me ask you this, right? Just say, with a miracle, he able to claim temporary insanity. Will he beat all charges, or will they still try to hold him on something? Cause this how I look at it. With him killing the cop, they gonna try to hold him on something.
And drunk to death.
They gonna hold him on something. You know.
He ain't, his life, like I said, bro, he dead already. His mind, this man is dead already. There is no way you could scare him, harm him, hurt him, nothing. You can't do nothing to him. Literally. You know what I'm saying?
And I think we
He,
can
he
see
the type of he the
we can
type of
see
person. He's
his face.
extremely the way his face be looking. He look like the type of person like you can punch him in his mouth and he just start laughing. That's how he look. You feel
Right.
me? I'm just saying off the visual.
Yeah.
That's
Just
how
so
he look.
yeah.
He look
Yeah.
like the type of person. That's all you got, motherfucker. That's all. He look like the type of person that amp it up, make you
Right.
go harder. Like this motherfucker, we gonna have to kill him. Yeah, you gonna have to kill me because I'm already dead. That's what he looked like in my eyes. His spirit sings to my spirit. That vibe right there. You feel me? And that's how I be. But yeah, I'm dead, bro. What else? What else? You killed my offspring. My legacy, my child. That he was born and I was governed to protect him for the rest of my life. You feel me? Now I'm seeing some scared ass cop shooting him in the back. Man, I don't even care if my son turned around with the gun. You feel
Just the
me?
principle.
I'm still on that time. And it's like me as a king failed my duty as a king. And it cuts deep into the spirit. And it's like I can no longer function as a what you want to call a civilized human being in a world that's what you call that is the illusion of civilization. I mean, civilized mindedness is no longer an illusion. I can no longer function in this, matrix that y'all playing in. You feel me? Like it's over for me. I don't care where y'all send me. Or prison. I don't care where I go. I don't give a fuck about my friends, the rest of my family, none of that shit. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? And that's where it's at, bro. That's how I see with him. You know what I mean? Much respect and love to brother, man.
Absolutely, man. Much
You know,
much respect, love,
much
man.
respect and love to him. I hope he find his peace in one way or the other. You heard?
I heard that they froze up his GoFundMe, so I gotta look into that.
Yeah, it ain't nothing they can do to hurt him, bro. It's not like distract him with court proceedings and things like that.
God bless
You know what I mean?
God bless the unalive. That's
Yeah, there's more people in this situation. We just don't know about it. This situation is happening regularly. We just don't know about it. This is the one that's taking up all the oxygen in the room. This is happening regularly. We just don't know about it. Not only the black fathers, white fathers, Spanish fathers. You know what I'm saying? And as a father, as a man, we talking as a man, not as a race of people, right? When our child is born, and we look at our child, like we instinctively find that tribalism in it, like yo, this is what I was sent here for, to watch over him or her. You know what I'm saying?
right.
God, him or her. And some men get lost in their way, but some know their duty. You know what I mean? Some try to find that path, like, yo, watch me. I'm gonna work my way, do the right thing. My son is a teenager. He's acting like a teenager. I've been there, I've done that, but I had to grow out of it. He grew out of it. One day you get that phone call, like, yo, he's no longer. It's like, what? Like, nah, your reality stops. The matrix cease to exist. You're no longer playing in this game. You know what I mean? No, no. And this is all men. I'm not just talking about black men. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
not just talking about black men.
Talking about a father's duty.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Protecting your pride, and you feel like a failure if you can't protect your pride, no matter the age.
Absolutely.
It hurt worse when and I ain't even gonna say it hurt worse. I never lost a child. You know what I mean? But you know, I know people who have, and I feel like the hurt is all the same,
Right.
no matter the age. It's just like,
Your
damn, son,
father,
the main piece
you
of
know,
you, what I'm saying, is no longer with
your father, you know, you can see in his eyes at times, you know what I'm saying? And, even siblings, it's almost the same as siblings, you know what I'm saying? It's like your other half is gone. It's like that
you.
deep, you know what I'm
Absolutely,
saying? Your other half is gone, and
absolutely.
it take a piece of you. Like it's just imagine being taken away from somebody else, though. Somebody else taking that away. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's it.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate robbery. That's the ultimate robbery. Don't you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember,
Because just
like,
like that, it took 3 seconds for 6 shots, if that, right? 2 seconds, and the whole life is gone.
yeah, I had
Young
a,
life.
my son is in his 20s, early 20s. Good kid, but he had a swag about himself. And he could come off, very sarcastic. Kids are like that. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays, their vernacular is a little different than now. They can come off very sarcastic. But his is genuinely not sarcastic. It's just how he talks.
Just how they talk, right?
So, I mean, that's just how he talks. That's their thing. You know what I mean?
For lingo.
He's a very honest. I say honest. He's not a thief, not a liar, not a cutthroat, none of that. He stay away from dudes that, you know what I mean, that ain't going nowhere with their shit. He tries his best to stay away from that, earn his keep. He's into earning his keep. And if one day somebody said to me, your son did blah, 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 so we had, a situation where I felt like they had to, all that. It's just like somebody just baptized me in fire right there, brother. They would never explain to me nothing about why you took my son. You know what I'm
About
saying?
why
You
you
get what I'm
did it.
saying? Like, you can never explain nothing to me.
Right.
You feel
There's
me?
no
Nothing.
understanding, no justification.
I wouldn't care
Nothing.
if my son was in the wrong. He's a kid. He could do that. He could be in the wrong way. But that's to me as a father. My son
I
could be in
dig
the
it.
wrong. He could grow from that. But they just unalive you for being a kid sometimes. Seriously. And that shit is scary. They unalive these kids for being kids. They're
Just for being kids,
just for being kids. We joyrided, bro. I remember that shit. Like, we
having
joyrided,
fun,
bro.
doing dumb shit, having fun,
Yo, we
being
was,
being young.
bro, we was kids. Before we got into guns, it was always BB guns that looked like guns.
Right, all the way back to cap guns.
You know
I
what I'm
remember we
saying?
had the little cap guns that look like little 38s and shit.
We
You
was
know what I
we
mean?
was sticking up. We was sticking up. No disrespect. We was sticking up. Mexicans coming out the bars late nights. You know what I mean? That's how we started off and shit. Oh, they believe it's real. And then it's like you start to escalate when you play in that field. But it felt so innocent. For me, we didn't feel like we belonged in Trenton State Prison.
Right,
No shit like that.
right.
That's what's up. You get caught for playing with your BB gun on that note. Yeah, you going to state prison. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, like, yeah, it's that deep. It's that deep, bro. And it's like, at that age, you just innocent. You doing what you seen on TV and rap shows and shit like that. The influence is crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's severe. It cuts deep. It cuts deep. And it's boom.
On that note, again, God rest the dead and God bless, you know, Rodney
And his
Hinton.
soul, power be
We
with that
living,
man.
man.
Power be with that man.
Speaking of prison and trials, let's talk about P. Diddy.
Diddy?
We're gonna talk about Diddy. Cause this ain't just about one man, right? It's
Right.
about power, image, the silence around abuse in hip hop. This is what they make it to be, right? Like we update on a legal situation, right? You know. So the first couple of days, or the first day or so, I guess they had an issue picking a jury. So from what I hear, it's 4 men, 6 women, they all Caucasian.
Yeah.
Well, a situation popped up with Cassie. So, they doing all their opening statements, things of that nature. We already know that the Cassie video is going to get played. As a reminder, anybody who didn't see the video, it's a fucked up video, right? Like they're in the hotel. Cassie seen leaving. Apparently, she's trying to get out the hotel. You see Diddy run out in a bath towel and some slippers, grab her by the head, pull her down, start kicking the shit out of her, drag her back to the room. Right? That sums up pretty much from what they're making it appear their whole relationship. Diddy is saying, or Diddy's side is saying, that they had a domestic violent relationship, meaning that they would beat on each other, which I never agree with any type of domestic violence personally.
Absolutely not.
You know,
Or verbal. Verbal,
any
physical,
kind of
whatever.
domestic violence. Like if it
Right.
come to the point to where it's considered abuse, I mean, you know,
Right.
relationships you're gonna argue,
I gotta
right?
say
But
that
it should
because a
never
lot of
be
people don't
something that's
believe that.
gonna
A lot of people don't
tear in your
believe that.
soul.
A lot of people don't believe, verbal.
Words could be more damaging. Words could be
Absolutely.
more damaging than
Absolutely.
actual physical abuse. You know, so we get mad,
This
but I
is
try
real.
not to ever. I try not to. You know, I don't ever disrespect my wife and call out a name or nothing. Not saying that
You
we
know
don't
why?
raise our
You know
voice
why though?
sometime,
But you
you
know
know.
why? Like you know why though?
What's that?
You won't wake up, son. Like this ain't that.
Facts.
Why? You ain't here no more. Damn. He was young.
Play with my wife.
Man, this ain't that, bro.
You know, it's amazing how like with men when we
Because
find like our better halves.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They could get away with more shit than anybody else
hmm
in the world could get away with. It's like, you know.
you ain't
Anyway,
waking up. You will wake up not feeling your body. You in the garage. You in the garage. You know what I mean? Numb, whole body numb. Like only thing that can move is your head, and she got the chain. So I told you.
looking at you drinking a glass of wine and shit. Like,
Recording you and shit. Playing on TikTok while she doing it. Watching TikTok while she doing this shit.
stop.
But truthfully speaking, though, verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, this is all real. That's all real. Women can do it. The men may could do it. The women, children get involved. Same. It's all hurt. It's all like it need to be checked at the gate. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for family members sometimes to get involved. They don't, a lot of family members don't want to get involved because they get involved and then it creates a circus, and then that person go right back to that person. It's like, so, especially in the black community, when it comes to abuse, black family members like,
It's
yo,
more
why
hidden.
am I
It's more,
helping?
you know, people kind
Why
of hide
help?
it
Why
under the
get
carpet.
involved? Why get involved? She and he break up, they gonna get right back together the next day, and you
Get
don't
right
put
back
yourself in
together.
that space. You know what I mean? We gotta do better. We definitely gotta do better.
So speaking of abuse, this is what we got with the Diddy trial right now. When it comes to Cassie, from what was said, Diddy had an escort, technically pretty much pissed in her mouth. And that's what turned him on. Disgusting. Then you got a Jane Doe that's saying that she was messing with Diddy, everything was cool. One day he kind of asked her about a freak off. She only agreed because she wanted to be close to him, thinking that, you know, they was going to be something. When she agreed, he had the freak off popping within the hour, brought male escorts in. And what she's saying is that he forced her to engage in sexual activity with these male escorts with no protection. And that was like a turn on for him.
What?
So
No, listen, man. Listen. With no protection, you
no
wildin'.
protection.
You wildin'. You got a gun in your head, or you want to? Cause that's death.
This is what I'm getting to,
Go
right?
ahead, finish. Go ahead and finish, bro.
What I'm getting to is
Go ahead and finish, bro.
you
So,
got the case and then you got damaging the character,
right.
right? My thing is this. If you agreed what you pretty much said, you only did it. You saying that you did it so you can be close to him. That don't sound like he forced you to do it to me. Now, if you were an abusive person, they could pry on your weaknesses. Absolutely. But there's a difference between forcing and encouraging. So where's the case?
Legally.
That's my question. Where's the legal case? Is Diddy a piece of shit? Absolutely. You beat a woman up like that, you're a piece of shit to me. You're a piece of shit to me. You look at little Cassie like a little fucking toothpick. You feel what I'm saying? like, you know, I got you. I'm not gonna say that you don't deserve something, but do you deserve to be in the case with the charges that you have against you at this moment? Where's the RICO? Can they prove that you actually had some type of sex organization where you was flying sex workers out across the country? Because it's been a speculation,
Hey,
right? It's been a speculation.
you're talking about the legality versus the slander,
Absolutely. Legality versus the slander.
and how they
That you
trying to play
deserve to
with
go to
each other.
jail for the rest of your life because you're a piece of shit.
Right.
right? Or did you actually commit a crime that you're actually on trial for? Not a state crime. Domestic violence, that's a state crime, right? And when the settlement got taken, that went out the window, right? Like Cassie took millions of dollars as a settlement. No charges was filed on the state charges. Done.
Right, right.
So now we in the federal charge, the RICO case. Where is the case?
So I'm
Where
trying to,
has the case been?
I'm trying to,
Why,
because
why was he denied bail this whole time? Like this whole time, you had him sitting inside of prison as a fear that he could do something to the witnesses. And I'm sorry, but I just call bullshit. I think by law, I call bullshit. I think if it was a fucking Brad Pitt or anybody else, they would have been home getting ready to prepare for court.
well, you know,
People got freaky fetishes, Jay. Like
absolutely.
people do weird shit. Like compared to like, you know, our mind, like you be like, yo, that's some weird ass shit. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know.
Kinky, freaky, whatever you want to call it. You're right though. Like I think we discussed
Human
this
waste of
last
any
time.
sort is not my thing. Period.
It's like a smear campaign. We discussed this before. Smear
Right.
campaign, right? And once you spread it so much, right, you can't find the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the truth can get lost. Like what you just saying, like the legality versus the fact that he's a fucked up nigga is like how do they mesh? And I don't care if he's a fucked up nigga. Where's his legality part? You know what I mean? Like the legality part seems he got kind of lost up in it with people's feelings of him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I to be honest with you, to be 100% honest with you, like I had kind of like stopped paying attention to the Diddy case a minute ago. As soon as I knew what it was, you know, and it was like I don't know why, like instinctively, I just felt like he crossed over into something that I could no longer communicate as like I would with him. Like I used to big up Diddy because I used to be like, Diddy was the one, in the '90s, other than Andre Harrell and them, that really brought the money into the hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? That really start talking about the money aspect
Man,
of the hip hop
man,
culture.
it's no
You know what I
denying that
mean?
Diddy is a pioneer.
He's a
He's a
pioneer for
pioneer.
that. Like that's so specific. Yeah, I'm talking about the money. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like he brought
When it comes
the
to hip
wealth.
hop, he's a pioneer. When it
He
comes to
brought the
money,
wealth into the hip hop.
having his own label as a young black man, all that good shit,
Nah, but
and
like I
when
don't know if you
Bad Boy
understand what
was
I'm saying.
popping, they was popping.
When I say like, listen, dudes wouldn't be talking about Ferraris or Bugattis and none of that if it wasn't for Diddy. I'm not gonna say just Diddy by himself, but Biggie and Diddy. You know what I mean? Bad Boy, them two, Diddy and Biggie. You wouldn't be talking about 600 Benzes. You wouldn't be talking about that. They pioneered that wealth in rap. That whole Junior Mafia, Little Kim, Biggie, Diddy, talking about fur coats, diamond rings, Rolexes, da da da. That's all you hear now. There ain't no other rappers talking about anything else but materialism, and that was Diddy thing. Money and rap. You feel what I'm saying?
I feel like Diddy was the king of
That
commercial
money
hip.
rap, yeah, the fur coats, and it's like, damn, Diddy, bro. That wealth could spoil you to the point where all your deepest crazy fantasies just ran away with you. But
That's gonna be
I'm not
another
saying
topic. That's gonna
I'm
be
not.
another
Yeah,
topic
yeah,
for a podcast, right?
yeah. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not saying that he innocent. You feel me? I'm definitely not saying that. I'm not running. That's why I'm not running those fake. And I don't follow it, so I don't have to prejudge him. You feel me? But I'm definitely not saying he innocent of all things. You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna
If the
say
man
this:
is big headed, yo, he's guilty.
if he drugged someone to have sex with him unwillingly, that's rape. You're a piece of shit. I get it.
Absolutely.
I
Yep.
get it. If
Yep.
you fucking with a minor, you're a piece of shit. I
Yep.
get it. Right?
Yep.
I get
Yo,
it.
I could say this in
If you
so many ways.
flying, if you got a sex ring, the way they trying to say it, like Diddy's the man, you know, sex workers everywhere, blah 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 blah. Right? Like
Probably. He
you know,
got madams all over the country.
Okay, cool.
They got madams all over the
But you
country.
look at the charges for that, right? For you participating in sex work, and you talking about years of your life gone when they're of age, right? If they was of age, so this is how I see it, and
Payday.
maybe
Payday.
I'm wrong, maybe I'm
Payday.
wrong,
It's
right?
payday.
This is how I see it. I feel like most of these people that's coming out is just like you say, it's just for a payday. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people wanted to go to a fucking P Diddy party. They was infamous. They was known everywhere as the party of all parties,
Freak off.
right?
And it
Well, the
wasn't a
freak are
secret in the
supposed to
circle,
be the
wasn't it?
after parties,
It was
right? But
not a
just
secret. It was not a secret. If you knew, you know.
so I mean, if you're a freak and you want to
No,
be
it's
in a
not a
freak off,
secret.
it is what it is.
It's not a secret.
If you're not a celebrity, but you about that type of life, right? And
Yeah.
you get invited to fuck with celebrities, right? You're gonna fuck with celebrities,
Don't fuck
right?
with Diddy.
You're a freak. You're a freak that's participating in the freak off.
You don't fuck with Diddy.
So again, where is the RICO charge coming from? Where's the crime?
I'm surprised
Because I
Donald
still
Trump
haven't seen, you know,
ain't tried more charges, but
try to
pardon,
pardon
give him,
Diddy.
yeah, try to pardon him. I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
I think it's a little too deep for Trump to get in. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised.
This case, this case, man, is because a lot of people we see it as just another brother being the target,
That's Trump. Love that type of shit.
right? Because the backstory. I don't think this case got nothing to do with Trump
No, I
personally.
said Trump loved that type of mingling
Drama.
or that type of, sex parties and shit like that. He was infamous for all that. You know what I
I mean,
mean?
Trump
He
had
was,
his day. Trump had his day. But again, if it's not rape, right?
right,
If it's not pedophilia, I don't see a charge. I just see freaks at a party.
trying to get the bag.
One big ass orgy. Everybody drinking, getting high, and fucking each other.
So, they probably had some type of, like, you think, like, did he run situations like run all situations like an organization? If you're gonna be here, you already know what it is.
And that's my thing.
Like if you
Why
come in
wasn't these
here,
people signing NDAs?
if you come in here, you already know what it is. You heard about my parties, you already know what it is. What you think you're gonna sit on the couch?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And because it's the people that was in the know versus the people that wasn't in the know. So now the people that wasn't in the know, they got the little idea. Oh, so it's like a big deal. But the people that was in the know, this was regular. This was regular. And now the people that was in the know, they capitalizing on it. They're like, yo, we get a bag. I got poisoned a couple of times. But this is what y'all used to do.
He going down anyway.
This is what y'all used to do. But anyway, maybe like I really can't, to be honest with you. It's fluid. Actually, right now, this is fluid. And there's so many moving pieces in this. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You definitely have to you definitely have to pay attention to the law versus the slander, the smear campaign. You know what I mean? Definitely got to pay attention to both sides because you got to be able to distinguish what's being said and for what reason. You know what I'm saying? Make a valid point that a lot of it is slander. Smear campaign, like I said.
I think we'll see what the other what else, I'm sure a lot of shit is coming out.
Yeah, by the time I see you again on this, bro.
There's gonna be some wild shit going out.
What?
Ashton Kutcher is gonna be swinging. Gonna be a video of him swinging ass naked from a tree, holding baby Justin Bieber and shit. Like it's about to be some wild shit coming out, bro.
The dark side of Hollywood.
Yeah, the dark
I
side of
wonder
Hollywood.
who was the I wonder who was the Diddy before Diddy. That's a good question. Who was the Diddy? Was it, was it the pack rat? What they call themselves?
Pack.
The Rat
You talking
Pack,
about Frank Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra and them. Yeah, they probably was the Diddy before Diddy.
I think this shit been going on since Hollywood made his first movie, bro.
But it's always that one dude, you know what I mean? Always that one dude that
Party guy.
encompasses all of it, you feel me? That John Travolta, not John Travolta, Frank Sinatra. Hey, it could have been John Travolta shit.
See,
I
I don't
don't
know my
know.
history on Frank Sinatra, so I don't know. other than the songs he made, and
Sammy Davis and them. I don't know who did it before Diddy. You know what I mean? They
I
did
think it
that.
was just a common thing. I think
Nah.
Diddy House was like Studio 54,
Yeah, it's the
like a
epicenter.
modern day version of like
It's the
Studio
epicenter,
54.
man. It's the epicenter. Like it's
Uh,
always it's always
shit is going
in
down
every
where you
era
get.
is a person that holds the epicenter, the mantle. Then he held the mantle in the 90s, you feel me? The 2000s. I wonder who held it before him. Who gonna hold it after him? You know what? Luke. But they wasn't as brass and steady with it shit. I'm pretty sure they had crazy shit popping, but Diddy had way more capital. They could do way more than that.
I'm gonna say, you know who I think it was? Now we talking about the black community or just in general?
Just in general, man. Cause
Hugh Hefner.
you, yeah, but
Hugh Hefner. The whole Playboy Mansion setup. I be watching that Playboy murders and shit, man. The shit crazy. I think that shit was set up
he
for
was
those reasons.
flamboyant. He was flamboyant. You know what I
All the
mean?
top celebrities wanted to be at the Playboy Mansion,
He made it
right?
legal. He made it legal.
Like I think Diddy took Hugh Hefner's spot when it came to that type of party and getting it.
But at the same time, you gotta understand, breaking the law is part of the rush when it comes to that type of mentality. It ain't fun if you ain't skirting the law, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be skirting the law, getting away with murder, basically, because that gives you adrenaline. From Hugh Hefner was legal. And yeah, the Playboy mention and all that. That shit was legal. So I don't think it was
To
Hugh.
be at the Playboy Mansion was legal, but I just don't think it's no social media, right? We don't have fucking cameras that fit in your pocket and shit.
Right,
So some crazy shit was going down because I'm sure they was doing coke and getting fucked up at the Playboy
right,
Mansion too, right?
right.
So some shit was going down. It just wouldn't have been broadcasted out.
Yeah, but
And I think Power got something. See, this is the thing with the Diddy case, right? Diddy went against the niggas that he did the whole liquor deal with, right? Like, so
right.
like it
The
was like a
politics of
billion
the
dollar
situation.
deal. It's politics. It was like they didn't want to pay him what he wanted. He was gonna sue him for like $1 billion. And it's been rumored that they the ones who set this whole shit up.
Right.
It's like you going against the higher ups, and this is the result of it.
So they
Same
say,
shit that people been thinking. Like when you look at like terms like the Illuminati or groups of factions like the Illuminati, it's like you go against them, they could destroy everything. They got videos of, you fucked up, you fucked up, not, not even consciously, but they put a naked child next to you and shit. Now they got a video of you.
see,
You
this is
dig
the
what I'm
thing.
saying? Like this the rumors of how that shit works. So now
I
it's
don't think
kind of
they're that
you
powerful.
kind of
I
getting
really don't think they're
political.
that powerful. I really don't think they're that powerful. I think they ran uh, a um a good campaign against Diddy because if Diddy was loose, Diddy was out, Diddy had destroyed him. See what I'm saying? Like I don't think they really could beat Diddy on fair playing ground, a level playing field. They can't.
So they had to go. So they went this
They
way.
had they had to go this way. They ran a good campaign, a good smear campaign, legal shit on top of it, muddy it up to the point where it's like, because if Diddy was out, Diddy come after him, come trying to decapitate them. Feel
And
me?
that, that's what the court said, and why they denied this bail this long. Like if Diddy was out, Diddy would
If
go
Diddy
at him.
was out, all this fake legal ramifications, all this bullshit, they cease. Because the same people that suing Diddy, Diddy had turned around and sued him. Feel me? You understand what I'm saying? Like he use the same law that you using against you. It's like, yo, like
I
his
think
money is
that's what it
infinite.
is.
Yeah. So they let
That's
him
what
out.
it is. I think it's some law from what I heard, and I will educate myself because I know I'm misquoted. So audience, forgive me. But it's something with the legal system that whatever type of lawsuit Diddy was trying to file against the people that made that dose and all that other shit, then if he was to be caught up in some type of federal prosecution or something like that, then they would revoke the whole lawsuit. So that's kind of the speculation as far as why this shit actually, like, is taking place right now.
Facts, it's but you like you said, man, like the meat and bones of the situation is like it's legality on top of smear campaign, on top of legality, on top of smear campaign. And it becomes hard to distinguish what's real from propagated, you know what I'm saying? Propagated, he said this one or that. It's very hard, bro, because you turn on, social media is 24/7. It doesn't stop. It's a machine. It's actually you can use it as a war machine. Feel me? And that's exactly how it's been used. You know what I mean? You throw a little bit of legal on it, throw a little bit of bullshit on it, and you just make one big sandwich. And sometimes people get caught up in the mix. They don't know the difference. We not lawyers. You know what I mean? So if you sound like a lawyer, you can sound like a lawyer. You can use lawyer, words, understand the third. Say you went to law school, understand the third. Bro, I done seen lawyers that don't know shit. They talking about, bro, they get checked by other lawyers. You know what I mean? And it's like the smear campaign on top of the legality is lawfare. That's what Trump would say, right? Lawfare. This is real
Right.
lawfare. Cause this is a 24-hour, 24/7 machine, bro. 24 hours, 7 days a week machine that's going off drilling. This shit is nonstop. You know what I mean? And how do you fight against that? Especially when you locked up. Feel me?
Right.
Especially when you locked up. You feel me? Because Diddy very, very, very out there. He can get very out there, very beside himself. You know what I mean? And it's like just like Kanye West. Kanye West can get very beside himself. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And people like Kanye West, when you're trying to get them out the way, man, you're gonna have to run 24/7 smear campaigns against them, bro. Stop drilling into the ground. That's the only way you can do it. It's crazy, bro. A lot of people don't survive this far. You know what I mean?
Nah, they don't.
A lot of
I
people
just
don't
want
even
to say a
survive this
case.
far.
If you're taking another black entrepreneur down, that minus this smear campaign, but I think a lot of people still look at Diddy as being iconic. Like a lot of people don't go underground into the shit. Like that he has something to do with, you know, Biggie death. Did he have something to do with Pac death? Things of that nature. A lot of people don't go into it that far,
I never said
right?
Diddy was an angel. I don't know if he's
A
an
lot of
angel.
people, but a lot of people look at him as an icon. To me, it's like is this? I'm even gonna say to me. I'm gonna just say it sparks the question. Is this just another way to tear a black icon down? I guess we'll find out. We'll find out because to me, you're innocent until you're proven guilty, and unfortunately, minus him being a fucked up ass person, I just don't see the case. Not yet, anyway. I know a lot of shit. We'll keep up with it, but
Hands up in the air. Smoke right now. Smoke screens going on. Smoke
yeah,
alarms going off. No fire, bro. Don't want to see the fire, bro. Like where the fire at? Feel me?
man.
See the smoke. No fire yet, bro. Not for no Rico, none of that shit they talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah, putting his hands on that chick like that. Yeah, that's Tom Server. He would have been past that already. That's Tom Server. Right? You want to lock him up, or you want to crucify him for hitting that girl? He really got Tom Server for that. You take the
Right,
average man, they don't even be locked up for this long. You feel me?
yeah. Diddy been locked up for months.
So it's like, all right, so what now? What now?
You know,
She got
locked up for
payday.
months.
He got locked up. Mad people trying to sue him. And he locked up. He could hardly police stealing his information. For this
All
ball,
type of
bro.
shit. All
All
type of shit.
types of shit.
Raided the house
And
trying to
I'm
see
and
who
I'm
they
and
could
I'm
get.
no fan. Like I'm not a
You know,
fan.
right?
Like some type of. I'm just being real with it. You feel me? I'm
Yeah,
just
me
being
too.
real with it.
I'm
You
not.
feel
I'm
me?
not a fan either. But me too. Cause see, I go further into the situation. Like
Yeah.
as a fan looking in to like I was a fan of Biggie,
Right.
right? So when Biggie died, it rubbed the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Right.
With the
Right.
speculation with Diddy, Keefy D, and you know killing Pac and Diddy might have something to do with Biggie death because Biggie wanted to leave and start his own label. You know, Diddy not giving Biggie moms her correct royalties, and
Mm.
you look at the years of just seeing shit. You know what I mean? Diddy shitting on the locks for a while. They became
That was
cool
Junior
later,
Mafia,
but
the
this
whole
is
Junior
all
Mafia,
shit that was happening. You
the
know,
whole Junior
only
Mafia.
ones that motherfuckers know for Junior Mafia is Lil Kim and Lil C's.
The Mace.
Everybody else you don't even hear about. Like you don't know nothing about them. Was
Mace.
Mace really part of Junior Mafia? I mean, because Mace was the shit. He was a songwriter. Like,
Yeah, Mace was the shit,
after
dog.
Biggie, Mace made all pretty much most of the bad boy hits.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Mace was the shit. Mace was the
Murder
shit.
Mace. Mace was that nigga.
That was like P. Diddy like carved him. You know what I mean? Carved his image rather.
That was the bad boy. That was the bad boy sound.
Yeah, that was definitely a bad boy. You know.
They made a lot of money. But again, you played Mace too.
Yeah,
Then played them again when he tried to come back and join G Unit. You wanted 50 to give you $2 million just so you could release him. An artist that you know what I mean?
yeah.
Then you got the whole royalty shit. Like it's a lot to it. I'm not a Diddy
Yeah,
fan,
yeah. Diddy playing
but
this shit
but
like a
I
drug
respect
dealer.
the business and I respect his hustle. You dig what I'm saying?
It's like 50, bro. He played this shit like a street dealer. He played this
Absolutely.
he played this rap shit like and they play this rap shit like they on the block, you feel me? This Dillons and shit, they play this shit like this money. This real money. You get $2 million
Real money.
from 50 just for saying what I say and shit too. Like, yo, you gotta give me 250. 220. And listen, he probably didn't care, but he just threw it out
It's
there.
the
See, at 50
principle.
a bite. See, at 50 a bite. If 50 would have bit, 50 would have paid him 2 million though. You gotta understand where that's coming from.
It's like selling the old car that's been in the yard, even though you ain't driving it, but you just don't want to get rid of it really. So
Yeah.
you throw a number out there like, man, if you want this car, bro,
He was
you got to pay for
super protective over his image. That was one thing. Diddy was always super
it. That's why
protective
I'm
about his
shocked. That's
image.
why I'm shocked that he did the Cassie video that he put his hands on her in the hallway by the elevator in the fucking lobby or the elevator of a hotel.
He probably was skied out of his mind, man. Probably was coked
Because
up,
they
dog.
was fucking with that Tootsie, whatever they call that shit. Tootsie supposed to be that pink shit. And it's been rumored that Cassie was trying to leave a freak off, and that's when it happened.
Yeah.
So kind of suggesting that some crazy shit was going on. Then she was trying to escape. Then he grabbed her. So that's where they trying to make the case at. But again, with Cassie, you can't really charge nothing because they was in a full relationship,
I just
and
yeah.
and you had her ordering the escorts.
See, like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying.
So,
So you
so
a fucked up
if they
person,
was
but what is
married,
the case?
if they was married, she'd be 100%. She'd be 50% responsible for all his actions. Basically, she'd be locked up too.
That's why I don't see the case.
Neither. Like, I don't get it, bro. Like, that's his girl. She know everybody he was fucking with. She was dead. Like, she had something to do with it.
She
I
was
don't get that
dead.
part. I don't get that part.
And they say, oh, he manipulated her because
Like, he beat her
he's
and that was it.
17. He's 17 years older than her. What was her parents at then?
Bullshit.
When they first, I guess when she first came to Diddy, she was only 19. He was 37.
How old is she
30,
now?
36, 37. Um, that's a good question. She in the mid 30s, I believe.
He raised her. He raised her. She grown. That's what she know.
She
She
got
all
groomed.
she know is freak off parties, man. Come on, man. Or 20s, freak off
Freak off.
parties, drugs. Her
Freak off. To the point where they had to get IVs and shit just to hydrate after these parties.
Yeah. Yo, Ox, man,
Like they
you
had
taking me
people
out.
come in. They
You
had
taking me on
people
a, you
come in to
taking me
give them
somewhere different with
IVs.
this crazy shit, man.
I'm
It's
telling
all
you,
crazy.
bro, this is the shit.
This is why it's saturated in the news because it's all crazy shit. You feel me? It's all crazy shit. You feel me? It's like underworld shit. You know what I mean? Like vampires and shit. You feel me? They like vampires that been
Yeah.
exposed and shit. That's crazy, brother. That's crazy. Told you to
So
stay
like I
away from
said,
them
we'll
Diddy
know
parties. I told you to stay away from
we'll
them
know
Diddy
in the next
parties.
few days. I ain't never been to a Diddy party, bro.
Yeah, all right, that's what you say. I know different. I know
Yeah,
different. I know different, bro. Yeah, I'm letting the
I ain't
world
never
know I
make
know
that. I ain't
different.
never make that. I ain't never make that celebrity.
I'm letting the world know now I know different. I said it.
Gotcha. And the bullshit controversies start with just that statement right there. I got 200 motherfuckers that seen the video. They gonna think a nigga went to a Diddy for
Oh, you did. You did. We went to like two or three of them for a week. Like you was gone for like a week.
week at a time.
Yeah.
Week at a time. That's
How
because you
was it?
got lost in there, Jay. I was looking for you.
That's because I
You
wasn't
was
there.
lost in that. They was like
No, I
Jay
wasn't
went.
there. I wasn't lost. I was gone.
They was like Jay went in the back room and we ain't seen him for a minute. So we don't even know.
I seen you with Will Smith. Y'all was talking in the corner. Next thing you know, y'all was gone.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I don't know what you and Dwayne Mark was doing, talking about y'all was smoking blunts. Y'all was smoking blunts in the courtyard.
You was rolling his L for him. What that mean? You was rolling his L for him. I was rolling his L for him.
You rolling up blunts for other niggas. Like, what's going on? Man. On that note, Jay, we're gonna pick up on the part two.
All right.
All right. I appreciate you, man.
Yo,
You know, again, for the audience that's out there,
yeah,
we
he
keep our
been there
eyes
three
open.
times. Three times.
Still don't top your fourth time though, bro. That fourth time was anything.
Look,
Nigga,
just
you was
saying
on
I'm
the video,
saying.
you was on the camera like this.
It's
You
all
know
right.
what I mean? Yeah, man. But until next time, bro. Love, peace. See you on the part two.
Absolutely.
All right.